qualifiers to get to the qualifiers, and he just got a little bit further every single time, Stormstormer. That is incredibly admirable.
I think it's very admirable for sure. I think there's a lot of players who like get on their TI maybe the first couple of years, their first good years, like you and other people. But as you said, I think it's really good to point that out, because I think it's absolutely impressive that like he's one of the older players and like he kept trying and trying and trying, because some people might just give up after like the 5th or 6th try. This is try number 7, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, try number 6, I think.
Try number 6.
6 time lucky. Yeah.
No, 6 is lucky, and 27 years old, it's admirable for sure.
I really want to talk about this graphics on the screen. The camp stacked difference is insane. I think AZURE have by far the lowest average camp stacked in this tournament compared to like a lot of the top teams in this tournament right now have around like 16-ish, 15-ish. So they are really, like you said earlier, Stormer, they are just fighting.
That's just what I mean. That's exactly what I meant. Like we also had those stats, by the way. We researched that, and like our coach is saying those guys don't stack, they just fight. You know, like we attacked their tier 1 tower. They're bringing 5 numbers, and our coach said, guys, this is gonna happen. Like this. But this is what I love about them as well. Like I think this is what's gonna be really interesting, because LGD is maybe a little bit more, how do you say, a by book team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They play just really.
More clinical?
Well, yeah, exactly. More clinical kind of Dota. And AZURE is a bit more unique in that sense. So it's going to be interesting to see 2 teams that play this differently from the same region, like clash against one another.
I would also be curious that we've had a full day of Dota 2, and I don't know how this is from a competitive standpoint. And I know Stormstormer last year, TI, you played at the end of a day as the last team to take the stage. And do you even look/learn from the matches that happened before then, or is all that prep already done, and on the day of, it's just waiting until your game starts?
I do think you soak some of it in for sure, especially the drafts. I mean, the meta on a tournament constantly changes. Like the meta years, for example, now we could see over the course of the day that Weaver all of a sudden, the Team Birds and Team Liquid Series got more prominent. All these things, I think you still soak in, and you like consider them when you're drafting against like in your own games. But I think for the main part, they did their own research. AZURE prepared for LGD, LGD prepared for AZURE. Those teams clashed against one another in their own respective DPC region. I think they mainly still prepared for each other, tried to stay as awake as possible, because it's getting quite late for them. And basically also enjoyed some of the matches that happened.
Yeah, they knew in advance that they would be the last team of the day, so I hope that they prepared themselves for that one. These 2 teams, they have played each other, even though AZURE has only been around for a couple of months. They did play together against each other, I should say, in Tour 3 of their DPC and also at the Bali Major. They are 5-3 in favor of LGD, just games-wise, and every series that they played, Cheap, LGD was the one to take it in the end. How many games does it take for someone to learn their opponents through and through?
I don't know. Technically, the team winning is going to be also learning about the team they're beating, right?
True.
I think these teams are both very good, but I would give it in favor of LGD just because they've been together longer. They also have history like before being on LGD. Like Shiro and Planet played together on eHome. They're very good.
They are incredibly good. And how good will they be today? And who will be the best? We'll have to play some Dota for that one.
LGD Gaming versus AZURE. Game 1.
Upper bracket semifinals. Nobody eliminated, but top 3 is around the corner for one of these 2 teams. We got AZURE on the Radiant side, LGD on the Dire side. Overall first pick, I believe, is going the way of AZURE, if my math adds up correctly. Yeah, it is?
Yep,
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank God I'm not the only one. Like, I'm one of the players, so I was already embarrassed. I'm glad I'm not the only one that didn't immediately know about that.
I mean, I wanted to talk real quick about New.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy has been underappreciated, I want to say, especially at this event. He is second in the most kills right now per game, but just behind Jator on that one. Second in the least amount of deaths, behind Nightfall, and he has the best KDA in the entire tournament right now as an offlaner, which is super impressive for this team.
Do you want to know some lore?
Yes.
Niu in Chinese means cow, but it is also slang for being reliable and cool, and cows are reliable and cool, and he is the reliable and cool guy.
Thank you.
Combine
You're
that,
welcome.
Combine that possibly with him playing the Spice Cow.
Hey.
Wow.
Like,
It's still in, by the way.
Canada, it's still in.
I actually would love to build off that though. Neo has, I think he's not lost his lane. Like all his stats reflect how reliable he is. I think when you're playing against Azure Ray, that's going to be so important for this matchup, because if Azure Ray just want to run around killing and ganking, and they're focusing more on trying to mess you up than actually like stacking and investing in their cause, right? If you have a stable offlaner who is not going to like bend to that pressure, then they're going to lose so much on Azure Ray.
I mean, he's more than stable. He's going above and beyond expectations.
Oh, man.
For an offlaner, yeah. Like, he's way above the bar right now, and I think that's why LGD is doing so well right now. Because, yeah, sure, we see a lot of offlaners pop up, but for LGD, like, having an offlaner, having the best KDA in the entire tournament it's out of this world. It's super impressive.
Yeah.
We have an opening pick of the Bristleback, and we mentioned the Space Cow, but completely ignored at the moment.
Uh-oh.
New, where's the cow? So yeah, I mean, Azure is starting off the Bristleback. I think this hero, I mean, we've seen it all on the tournament. I think this hero is just popping off. This Aghanim Scepter that it got now is just making this hero incredibly strong and incredibly tanky. I'm not sure if Azure is also one of the teams that flexes heroes to the position 1 position. It's mainly been played on the position 3. If they could even flex, it would be even more powerful. LGD is entering into Muerta. It's also Muerta. I'm sorry. It's also one of, I think, the most prominent heroes of the tournament. I mean, the flex between the position 4 and position 1 is just looking so strong, and the hero has just been popping off. So I think both teams are opening up here with like quite some standard drafting so far.
LGD haven't even flexed it this tournament, I believe. They've only played it on Planet, on that POS 4.
So no Shiro Muerta?
Not yet.
I'm sure he can still play
for sure, yeah. I'm very confident he can play it. But they haven't flexed it yet, which makes me think that they might just really prefer it for Planet's playstyle. I think Planet is an incredible 4 position. He was like the MVP of at least like DPC Tour 2. I remember his Rubik being, like his movements on the map, he was just so reliable. He rarely fed. His positioning was always just great. Like, Planet is so impressive to watch. So if he's on the Muerta, he's probably going to have more impact than I've seen on some others.
Yeah. I mean, looking at this Bristleback here, it looks like LG did their homework. They've got 2 games on Azure Ray of this Bristleback, but they've lost both of their games playing this hero. So, like, you know what? We know Bristle's really strong. Most teams won't give it away, but you're 0-2 with it. We'll take our chances.
Ooh, the nothing to say Magnus. Okay, so maybe, of course, in theory, this Magnus is going to be flexed, but it's nothing to say. I think this is one of his most favorite heroes ever. He loves his hero on Spellbreaker, and of course, this hero against most melee mids, which are really prominent right now, is just really, really strong. You have this Shockwave to Skewer on the mid lane, you get them into your tower, and I think since nothing to say honestly started being a player since like TI10, I think this has been one of his most signature heroes together with the Tinker. So I really like this pickup from LG. And Spellbreaker still in, by the way.
Yeah.
To be seen.
How do you punish a mag mid? That'd be the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly not that obvious. I mean, some heroes just like generally get skewered into the tower. Like some people have been experimenting with, like, for example, like Kunkka, because you can like get creeps from the range and you don't fall into the skewer range that easily.
It's also a melee hero, so you could always OD.
You mean the Summoners OD? I mean, it's true. It's a thing that he loves to pull off, but it would be probably a bit wild to pick it up right here because you don't. In theory, you don't really know if the Magnus is going to go mid, and then it might get flexed. Azure instead decided to go for the double support, the Shadow Demon, the Clockwork. Clockwork, of course, being insanely good against Magnus. You can catch him with the hookshot, and Shadow Demon is now offering a save against RP, which is insanely valuable. You now don't have to be afraid that your cores get bursted anymore. And they're keeping the next pick probably then for the mid laner for some.
And FY's Clockwork has been absolutely amazing this tournament. FY in general, actually, he's like kind of back in so many ways this patch. Like, I've been kind of looking at his item builds, and he's not really building support items. The only time I saw him build a Force Staff was like on some Silencer and he lost. He's going for the Midas, he's going for the Gleipnirs. He went Blade Mill into Assault Cross Clockwork one of the games. My man's getting farmed. He's getting a lot of farm, and he's going back to his old roots where he can carry from position 4, and it's been beautiful, and his Clockwork has looked really good.
And on top of that, at the moment, on average, the least versatile role is position 4, apart from when you're talking about FY, because he has like 10 different heroes played so far this event, which is way above average. As Willow gets picked up there on the side of LGD.
So this next pick for LGD is going to be quite interesting. They have to pick one more hero, and this is going to reveal quite something. So they have this Willow, which can be flexed with the carry position. Of course, it is like it was invented by this team, basically, right? But still, now I think they're going to have to at least show, hey, is this Muerta going carry? Okay, Vengeful Spirit. Yeah, now, so this means... Wait, let me not go crazy.
This
Okay,
means
she's still not
Willow
obvious.
carry, Venge support.
I mean, do they in theory play
Muerta
Venge on the off lane?
support.
I think right now they're going to keep the flex open, but I'm assuming most likely is going to happen is this Muerta / Willow will most likely be the carry. And then you're going to have the Venge on probably Pos 5 and Magnus. It could go off lane, but as you said, nothing to say. It's so good on the hero that they're probably leaning that way.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if Neo plays a Vengeful, but if they would, then they would keep the draft insanely flexible. And here, the Weaver comes out. So
Yep.
this is what I meant. Maybe
right.
they got this from the Spirit Liquid series, you know? Maybe their carry player before didn't play this hero. Now he's like, okay, just give it to me.
Well, Shiro was playing it, right?
Yeah, yeah, he
The other
has
end.
he has
Ah, he's
played
playing
it this
it.
Yeah,
way.
so it's not only a block pick, and I think Shiro was the one who played it the most this tournament so far. And a lot of teams are like, you know, LGD, they're 11-1, they're doing well. Shiro's winning of this. Let's play some more Weaver. Now everyone that seems to pick Weaver is winning, so those hero stocks are definitely going way up, and it looks pretty decent so far. I don't know what a bad Weaver game is anymore after watching this hero in action after the last couple of games.
I agree. He looks really powerful. I'm actually curious on you guys' thoughts. How do you think LGD is going to stop AZURE from running at them? I see a Clockwork and a Weaver. They're just going to go on you. Like, you're playing with a bunch of squishy-ish heroes that don't really like to be ran at, and then 3 heroes that like to run at you.
You make them run at you faster by skewering them first.
Okay, sounds
and,
good.
and then they get out of position, and then you can kill them. But the question is going to always be, when it comes to like these bristleback type of heroes, can you have the damage to kill them, even if you skewer them back? Whereas like sometimes you want a Silver Edge carrier. And I think Willow was a hero that a lot of people kind of looked at as like the answer. I forgot which team talked about this. Like, there's a bristleback. We want to pick Willow. We believe it's good. They're going to buy the Silver Edge, they're going to get the Aghanims, and they're going to try and burst them. So that's why I believe this Willow could potentially be a carry, just to counter this bristleback.
So AZURE is going for the last pick now. I want to highlight the bans a little bit because I think they're really interesting. So for one, they banned the Nothing to Say Tinker. It's also one of his most signature heroes, I think. Which means that they were thinking, hey, this might be, I think, a Mag off lane, Venge Willow support, and Muerta carry. Still, of course, it's not obvious what LGD is going to last pick. They're probably just going to wait to see what AZURE is going to pick and maybe put the Magnus mid. Still, I find that ban very, very interesting because I think Tinker has maybe not been played on this TI yet, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's really one of the most niche heroes as well.
Yeah.
But still, it goes to respect of Nothing to Say, of course, as one of the best Tinker players. And now this next pick from AZURE is going to be really interesting. It's guaranteed going to be a mid hero for Somnus, of course. And he has quite a big hero pool. It's a Snapfire. Wow, we did not see this hero since a very long time after the nerfs.
What makes this a good Snapfire game? Is it a good Snapfire game?
I don't know. Like, it is one of the heroes that is really stable on mid and it's hard to get countered. It has, of course, really good synergy with the Mortimer Kisses and the Clockwork Hookshot. The hero really, in terms of early game and like the lane switch and everything, did not get nerfed too hard. People really, really moved away from this hero because the late game of the hero, level 20 talent, level 25 talents got switched. So the late game got a little bit more, a little bit less obvious. But yeah, it's once again, it shows that it's Somnus. Like this guy is not being afraid of picking anything that he like ever used to play. Just insanely confidence. And now it's interesting what LGD is gonna pick into this.
Night Stalker.
Yeah, so they're going to pick a offlaner at the end. We're seeing a lot of new different ideas come against this Weaver. It's really new to the meta. We saw the Disruptor. Night Stalker is a great answer. They just want more lockdown.
Yeah, and it will be a carry Muerta, in case anybody is wondering.
Yep.
Shiro will play the Muerta, not the Willow.
Very similar heroes, right? Like,
Yes.
They both do magic damage. They both build a Silver Edge. They just got everything they possibly could to try and deal this bristleback.
I am really curious about the Snapfire Magnus mid matchup. I did not see this a long time, even though I'm a mid laner myself. I think it is insanely interesting because the Snapfire wants to move close to get a good scatter blast off, but then the Magnus is close enough to maybe skewer you into a tower. But I guess if there's one player who has more experience with the matchup, it's probably Somnus, because Snapfire has not been played since a super long time. But I really, really like this Night Stalker pick. It is insanely good to catch the backline, which here is the Shadow Demon, which is crucial to stop like the RP initiation and everything. So I think this Night Stalker fits the LGD draft quite well, and it's going to make team fighting much, much easier for them.
You have any final words, Cheap?
How the hell can I build off of that? Like, Stormer is just the greatest player to ever do it. I don't know. I'm hyped. I'm excited. I think this Weaver is going to have such a nice game, especially with the extra save from the Shadow Demon on top. Like, the damage output we've seen from that, I think it seems hard for LGD to deal with that when he gets like the BKB and isn't susceptible to Night Stalker silence.
All right, so your eyes are going to be a lot on that mid lane. Can AZURE shut down Neo's Night Stalker?
Maybe in the laning stage, potentially. But I really like the Snapfire mid here against like the Morta clock combo, because like you can just hookshot him, then Morta would like to stay in the back and you can cut him off.
Well, we're going to have to find out and see how this one plays out. But before we head to the game, we're heading over to Zhao8, who's standing by with Michelle.
Hello, everyone. I'm standing right next to Coach from LGD Zhao8. Thank you for taking the interview. 感谢你接受我们的采访。好的，那 LGD hasn't dropped a single best of 3 against AR this year. Do you think you can continue the streak? And what do you think the key for this draft? 那老干爹今年的话还没有输给 AR 一场比赛，你觉得今天这个比赛你们能保持连胜记录？然后你觉得你们今天 BP 的关键是什么？
第一个问题就是希望我们双方能赢上去，都把雪碧干掉吧。然后。 我觉得两个队伍的实力状态都很接近嘛，因为我们训练也是很差不多的，所以希望大家都加油吧。
So for the first part of the question, whoever we want to go to next round, and I hope we can take out team spirit. And for the second part, I think we are really close right now. We've been training, and I think we are on the really same level. So I just hope this is gonna be a good game. 那也谢谢你接受我们采访。Thank you for taking the interview. Let's go back to our casters.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome Seattle to the final series of the day. LGD up against AZURE. Fogs,
oh baby,
what a treat to end this day. Already, as we've heard, of course, LGD, they've kind of known what to do in the past against AZURE. Today, AZURE coming in with something a bit different, right? We're getting the Somnus Snapfire. Do you think this different approach might give AZURE the chance that they need to be able to solve LGD this time around?
Hey, the Weaver's been working today. It's been looking good. They've got a really strong, aggressive draft, so I'm looking forward to see what we got. LGD, a very strong scaling draft as well. They can also fight in the early mid game, but Somnus might have something up his sleeves. Let's see what he's got with this Snapfire.
I mean, what do you sort of think was the thought process behind it? On paper, what do you think Somnus saw this game with the Snapfire that other teams just haven't been seeing when it comes to picking a mid hero?
I mean, besides just like tempo that fits well with the draft with the Bristleback and Weaver, and even like the clockwork, just being able to be super early aggressive, I think it does have this early kill threat onto something like Morta. You're very immobile early game, just drop the kisses. There's a hook shot kisses, that hero is very likely to die, and that's the carry. So I think that's probably, I mean, I guess what I see for it, but maybe also just other little things, of course, too, versus this Willow, too. They have the burst that's always going to be able to go through the Shadow Realm. And hey, maybe he just wants to get it so he can go for some crazy type of scaling that we haven't seen on Snapfire in some time.
Yeah, you're talking about, of course, the Weaver pick as well for low. I've got to say, we kind of heard it on the panel. Do you think there is something about being here at TI, the teams watching each other, that's kind of infectious? Because we've seen a lot of Weaver today.
Yeah, I think people, I mean, I've been hearing a little bit more on the back end and stuff like that, but people are just talking about this hero's gotten so many buffs, and the meta overall, yes, it can be a bit slow with these heart and tanky heroes, but this hero can actually thrive on taking advantage of them because he's so damn fast. Like, Weaver is actually able to make plays all over the map, constantly resetting, and you scale very, very hard. You get to this 25 talent, this Geminate attack is absolutely ridiculous, and even mid-game, you do farm pretty damn well this new build that we're seeing, this Deso Shard build. We'll see if Low does do the same thing, but let's see how these lanes end up going down, in particular, this mid matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all eyes on the mid to see if Somnus is able to play it safe, for indeed, as was potentially suggested by the panel, if he might get a bit too close trying to get the blast in onto Nothing to Say, and maybe Nothing to Say is able to find a cheeky screw under the tower. Got to be careful, Somnus, when you're playing around like that. You see Nothing to Say teasing around with the potential of a skewer. But we'll see if he gets tripped up in the mid matchup, because getting a kill in this 1v challenge, he's going to be okay. I mean, looking at this top lane in general, how easy of a lane is this for Shira in the safe lane? Is this going to be a lot of pressure thrown at the Muerta early on?
It depends. It's all depending on how much FY is able to get these stacks up and everything with positioning. But overall, I think he should be pretty okay with the Venge behind him. I'm just having a difficult time just looking away from mid, because I think this is the one everyone's going to be looking at, how this matchup's going to be, since we haven't seen it in a long time. The Snapfire is just not really being played in any role, but especially not in mid. And you heard Stormstormer there saying himself on the panel, he's curious how this is going to go, because in the past, Snapfire dominant, but...
It really was. I guess sort of just over time, it was what nerfs to the hero, nerfs to what some of the items would be building on this hero as a universal.
Yeah, I'm just watching Somnus just lining up the blast, and since he has that range advantage as well, too, yeah, he's going to be able to have a good time for Sentius. I'm just curious the item build, right? That's the biggest thing. We used to see the 8 toes, the Gleipnir kind of build. what route are we going to see for Snapfire?
I mean, I feel like you could maybe go some sort of bots rush and kind of go around the map, get really aggressive,
possible.
get involved in a lot of action. We'll see how sort of active they want to play, or if indeed they want to sort of sit back and get some good farm on Somnus. Maybe whilst the Weaver, low, is playing the more active role.
Yeah, could be a possibility. We'll have to see which route they go. I mean, right now they set themselves up. The lanes are good. They shouldn't, in theory, die too much in these. The Weaver should be safe versus this Willow Night Stalker until nighttime hits, of course. Mid should be pretty safe. Top, we'll have to see the volatility. It's up to how fast that Vanguard comes out for Chalice, if he is going to be safe up here.
Sure, and if sort of Chalice kind of pushes it a bit too far with the early aggression as a bristleback. But so far, so good. Chalice playing it safe. So she's going to see if they can maybe turn it with FY, get a few poison stacks up onto Shiro. It'll bring him down low, but won't quite take him down.
The dream stick lane. Shadow Demon Bristleback. Everyone's just going to be thriving off those wand charges. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, already got it for the full wonders, as you say, done on Shiro.
Low is actually struggling a little bit. I mean, a tiny little bit in the lanes. He actually has a pretty massive wave coming in. But first few, I think we saw similar coming out from the Night Stalker earlier when he was dominating from Collapse, at least in the first few waves. But it should be fine. He has, 4 or 5 creeps coming into him, so.
This mid lane, though, good stuff so far from Somnus.
Nice.
Keeping that edge, playing to the favorability of being that range there against the Magnus and not giving Nothing to Say any sort of chance to outplay him so far in this 1v1.
Yeah, I'm honestly just like waiting to see what he does look to queue up, because even this, I'm curious about just the early game potential and even just later stages too, how much he's going to be able to do if he does look to go for any of this type of crazy scaling. I don't know. I'm just unsure if he's going to do it or not.
I mean, if there was any sort of start to the game that would lead towards, having your options open, this would be it. He's getting free farm in this mid matchup. Somnus, he's got all the routes to potentially choose between when it comes towards that item build.
Quiet start though, 4 minutes, no kills.
Both teams making sure not to overextend their hand too much in these matchups.
And looking at, is a big thing that we, of course, have to point out from the side of LGD that they did early. They see a Bristleback, they see a Shadow Demon. You know there's going to be stacks. Look at the 2 camps right off the bat. Didn't point it out, but they've been blocked the entire time. There is no hard camp. There's no Ancients to be stacked.
That's true.
So this Bristleback is going to be hampered quite a bit. And I think Panel did mention it also. If you looked at the way the games in this leading up to this were, the stacking from LGD, they've been 2 times as much stacks on average per game as AZURE has. So already looking to limit that a bit.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to imagine, right, AZURE, they're gonna realize this. They're gonna have to do something about this, because playing these heroes, as you say, without the potential of getting the stacks up, it's gonna feel pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's not really a point in going over to D-Warden, though. There's only 2 minutes left on it, so yeah, I'm sure they're just gonna play it, and yeah, they'll go stack afterwards, but see if there's any repercussions at bottom.
They'll get Planet in the cogs, but Shadow Realms are ready. Tianming not gonna be able to finish off the job there.
I mean, look at this. At last, it's in mid-Somnus.
I tell you, I think he could go for something crazy with the build. It is one of those Midas patches, but I don't want to see it. But you never know.
You never know.
Temptation can be there with those late game talents on a Snapfire that you want to go towards. We'll see what's there. Sort of takes Somnus' fancy here.
Okay, FY does actually buy the sentries. He's annoyed by it, so he is going to back away and will be able to take out both of those. But one of them, the damage is kind of done for the most part, but at least he'll get that next upcoming spawn that comes up. So does save him.
Got to watch out in the mid as well. Somnus, he's 1 creep away from hitting the 6. That gives the chance for a potential outplay and an opportunity for a solo kill if Nothing to Say isn't careful.
Difficult versus the skewer, I would say. Sure. But if he does catch the cookie, then there's definitely that chance.
You can get the predict as well.
Yeah.
Both mids now hitting the 6. See if any sort of rotation comes in. I mean, a +1 around the mid lane could secure a kill, and of course at this point, even a first blood. Coming up to 6 minutes in.
I mean, Power Ruin.
Anybody taken out yet?
Power Ruin right now. I mean, either one of these are killable. RP is up, so if he does land an angle to be able to pull him under tower, +1 rotations. Let's see, which rune's it going to be? Oh, Invis. So, I mean, this could be a potential setup, even for the TP ganks on the side lanes here, as nighttime, of course, was hit about a minute ago, so New will have that available for himself. He's getting slowed down, though, also, this Night Stalker. You're seeing the last hits for the Weaver now starting to thrive this lane. Definitely strong versus the Night Stalker when there's the clockwork backup, so yeah, New start a bit slower. So far for AZURE, the lane dominant kind of strategy that they went for with their picks, it's working in these first 6 minutes.
Should be able to catch up a bit now during the night time. Have that extra bit of a strength.
Yeah, exactly.
And aggressive potential in the lane. So top lane low, making an early rotation. He's ready to join forces with the 2 of them, Chalice and FY, to try and take Shiro and Why You Smile down. They've got the disruption to set up. Allowing Chalice and Low to close in a bit more onto Shiro. They're diving in with the Shikuchi. TP's coming in.
Is it enough?
Force
It is.
to poison it is. The RP's there in return though. Nothing to Say. Comes in with a 2-man. Skewers the back low. He's under the tower. He's going to get taken down. They'll get the Weaver in return.
Whoop, the blood grenade throw out. Is it enough to fill us?
Shockwave's there, nothing to say. Able to come in and redeem the sort of situation that was going down there. They may have lost Shiro going down as the first blood that AZURE are able to pick up, but in return, nothing to say, making sure they get 2 back against them.
And very nicely done, too. It's just little things of spellcasting, of course, but why, of course, using that stun on the Bristle ensures that they get the secondary kill. Very nicely done.
Yeah, making that hit at a fantastic moment. Just, of course, the points before Low was able to have that 6 online. There was no time lapse available. It was an aggressive move, a greedy move, and it gets punished.
It does. And we're probably going to see Somnus doing that Boots of Travel build, it's looking like. I mean, holding on to 1,500 gold, it fits the build. It fits exactly what they want to do.
But this is the danger. When you're playing the mid-snap, it's always like, do I get a Midas? Do I get the bots? You know, both are very, very tempting. We'll see which one he wants to lean towards.
It feels like when he has, like, I mean, the Weaver is, of course, these are kind of like these semi-carries that can play early that scale later on, so maybe he does feel like it, but it feels like the Boots of Travel just fit what they want to do with this game, which is playing super fast and aggressive, getting early Roshan objectives.
No, for sure. Especially if you've got sort of your carry Weaver making these twin gates movements 7 minutes into the other half of the map. You can tell that AZURE, they're ready to fight.
And it looks like we're going to see the same build. I mean, this has now been the staple Weaver build, I think. It's the Treads, Dragonlance, Bracer, and then perhaps that Deso afterwards. See if he does vary.
A bit more focus around the mid lane now. Nothing to say having the presence of Planet alongside him. Planet trying to get that level 6 online himself. Level 5.5 right now in the Willa. After that move top, things starting to calm down once again.
Slight movement down bottom, though. Why? He's making the rotation down with the Night Stalker.
Hard to get the opening on this.
It's level 6 on you, so he can do the double, you know, the Dark Ascension thing where he does get the double silence. If he does have a +1, they could have kill threat into the Weaver. Looks like they'll set her for the clock.
And they should get him in. You and Planet chasing down Tianming. They'll find the kill. It does mean that
more.
AZURE, they're going to have the information required to avoid this potentially. Shiro's able to clip him with the silence. He's going to buy time for
secondary
closer as well. They're in on top of the Weaver. Magic Missile comes in. Very nicely done there by LGD as they take down Low.
That is a very unexpected rotation. And Shiro gets the perfect connection, and they have the follow-up silence as well, too. They get the angle. That's 2 now for the Weaver. Getting slowed down in this early game.
And this hurts, being out at that point, lowest at the moment out of the cores after having quite good CS in the laning stage.
And it can hurt a lot, especially when you're playing into these silences overall. Like Night Stalker versus Weaver, this is a matchup that can quickly become very difficult for a Weaver. Especially if you itemize in a pretty cool way, which I'm seeing new already itemizing in a kind of cool way. I don't think I saw this one earlier, but an early Blade Mail for the Night Stalker. It is the Blade Mail meta for these tanky heroes, but I don't think we saw this earlier.
Absolutely, I guess it just sort of gives him the means to kind of get in there, get in on top of the Weaver, and know that if anyone on AZURE wants to try and hold him back with damage, it's not going to work. Top lane, LGD making the
big kisses.
Big kisses indeed. Shiro's going to get swapped out to the side. The last few kisses will connect. It's enough. They got him. They'll take Shiro down. They may lose Chalice, but they kill the carry. Somnus with the kill.
There right away, you see it, and he does give away his build. So Somnus, he's going to scale. It's actually a Diffusal build.
All right, Diffusal into the bot spot looks of it.
Very cool.
So getting that early item that really will allow him to get that extra impact with the movements. He gets in, gets him with a slow, that extra bit of damage, mana burn. It's a lot of aggressive potential from the snap. He's banking the move up top after that kill, pretty much taking down the tier 1 tower as well.
And maybe it could be an effect of what happened to Low, right? Low was top, dies, he goes bottom, dies, and maybe Somnus is like, all right, move over, buddy. I'm going to defuse, I'm going to carry mode, because we haven't seen it, but the potential of these type of scaling things too, with the snap could be kind of interesting. This Diffusal build versus the Night Stalker and versus the Magnus too. This mana burn, it's frustrating to play versus at times.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take this tier 1 tower down on the top lane. Meanwhile, on their half of the map down bottom, their tier 1 still standing in pretty good shape. LGD not been able to be getting these kills, but not quite able to put her on the same amount of tower pressure quite yet as AZURE are getting away with.
No Meteor Hammer off laner or anything like that for the side of LGD. They're going to have to do it through raw fighting to be able to take those towers. And it does look like what they're setting up for. Bottom Neo, his ult is back up, so a tough attempt from Tianming here.
I see silence coming in. Magic Missile as well. Planet ready to close in on towards Tianming. There'll be defensive disruption, trying to buy time here for the clock. But LGD, they're bringing in the numbers. Nothing to say. Get the RP. If they've got the follow-up change done, Stewart back. But they don't. They're able to get out with the time lapse. Low survives. And Planet, he's the one to fall. AZURE turning up and keeping everyone alive, making sure that even Tianming is able to keep himself up.
Big moves in the last few moments. All gathering very, very fast. And that is an RP used, and that is a Dark Ascension as well used right at the start of it also. Quickly turns and perhaps a little bit of damage here onto this tower too with Somnus.
I mean, great involvement from Somnus. He's up and down the map. He's keeping himself in that top spot. It's going to be a fantastic timing on this Diffusal into Boots of Travel right now.
And Chalice is just getting away with the typical Bristleback thing. He's just going on the side. He's going to have good timing, it looks like, onto his Aghanims with the normal build.
Another tower take.
Another one.
They're really ticking off all the boxes here in this early game, AZURE.
And that's, I mean, big downtime now for the side of LGD. We see RP being used, and of course the Dark Ascension. So now they're probably feeling like they need to chill a little bit. It's daytime, so New needs time to just sit back and farm. So for the side of AZURE, they definitely can thrive off of a bit more aggression here, with that all being down. Perhaps even look for the mid tower soon. Yeah,
it feels like pretty much all three of LGD's cores, right? They kind of need that next item, or even the next two, before they're able to turn up and turn things around in these fights. AZURE, they've got that first item done a little bit quicker.
Or just at least like wait for the cooldowns in particular. Right? 40 seconds at least for the RP, and then New also about 45 seconds or 2 minutes until nighttime. So a little bit of slowdown, and yeah, AZURE, they're not going to slow down at all. So on this FY, they're looking to make these plays. They want this Muerta.
That would be the big catch. And certainly settle for any other of the
and they've got a rocket for vision.
They're going to go straight for it. They've got the easy setup here with FY's ultimate, slowing you in position. Easy kiss connections from Somnus. It's another one here for the snap.
They are cruising right now. 4-5, but a 3K lead just off efficiency with these last few moves. Digs up a bounty for his buddy. Somnus will be able to keep himself full. And mid tower, that's the next option.
Yeah, so far, it's really looking like the plan that they had in store with this last pick Snapfire, it's working out an absolute treat against LGD that seemingly don't quite know what's hitting them. This lead, it's growing.
And this is also, of course, without the Bristleback getting involved. So Chalice, 800, actually 650 away from that Aghanim, so he can start joining in. Cooldowns now will start coming back up. Looks like LGD does want to start to group up a little bit here. Nothing to say. Looks like he's maybe feeling like he has to actually go for the Blink Dagger himself on this Magnus, because New went for the Blade Mail and stuff like that. So they're going to need somebody to try to help out to start these fights and maybe turn it around a bit here.
LGD. Now, looks like they'll just make the move to get the steal on the Wisdom Rune.
Okay. But I mean, at the same time, too, look at Low. He's looking at an Ancient stack, and he's potentially maybe looking at stealing a Wisdom. Actually, I mean, a Kobold might just kill it, as they also go for a kill.
They get the setup here, straight in with a hook shot, cooking forward, but the swap's there. Why are you Smile able to get New back to safety under the tier 2?
The Wisdom Rune, is he going to kill with the Kobold?
Easy deny there, Low, making sure that even though LGD is able to steal AZURE on the other side of the map, they won't get their own one.
I love watching me some Kobold micro.
Mid. The skewer back onto Somnus. A bit of a dangerous spot there this time round. Nothing to say, I believe, with the Blink Dagger reveal, catching Somnus by surprise. A very nice kill for, well, not him to get Planet, was the one to get the last hit on that, so we'll be a little bit disappointed with that one. Nothing to say. He would have loved that.
At least he gets to hold his RP. It was just a skewer to be able to set up for that kill. On the side here, I mean, this is quite fortunate here for FY. He's able to finish him off.
Seen news. I'm going to try and start to force the fight here. Over towards Tianming. They may just leave this clock behind. Tianming falls. FY, he's out of there, but indeed not before he was able to take pretty much the entirety of that Ancient stack.
Yeah, it was like a triple stack too, so it gets pretty much all of it. They still look to chase here. RP.
See if they got the chains done. RP into the fear. Shockwave, they've got easily enough damage to take down Low. Nothing to say. With this, as you say, sort of shift with the build, getting the Blink Dagger before the Echo Saber, it's making big impact.
It was
for that kill on the mid on Somnus, and now it's allowed them to take down Low. Nothing to say. Very much getting this game into a much more stable position for LGD, closing down that lead that AZURE grew.
I love when you see that identification where they're just like, okay, things are getting a little slow. Yeah, you know, it's cooldown based because it was like daytime and whatnot, and the thing bottom didn't work out. But he recognizes like we need this Blink to start making some action, have to strike back. When we have our CDs, right away they get some start. Ball rolling a little bit for themselves. But now Chalice, he's coming into play. Aghanim's done. But it is nighttime, so this Night Stalker can still look to get involved with this team constantly. He needs to go for the Blink Dagger, I'd imagine. He's got it queued up. Very good versus the Snapfire. Very good to get into the backline and positioning versus the Weaver. Close game, 8-4. But efficiency-wise, so far for AZURE, slightly leading. As Chalice can play very aggressive now with this Aghanims.
Yeah, it's going to take quite a lot of resources for LGD to push Chalice out of their half of the map. They're going to try and do it, though. In the backup, setting up here with the ultimates, a lot of damage. The defensive disruption will come into play from FY to try and bail Chalice out of this one, but he's completely trapped. They'll lose the two of them. FY and Chalice taken down.
That's a painful death. Way too far for you. I mean, Shiro immediately is going to tip him there. He's like, you have no teammates there? Okay, sure. That's a pretty massive kill for this Muerta to get involved in.
Yeah, maybe, you know, he's obviously incredibly farmed at this point, Chalice. We thought he might be able to get away in that part of the map. He certainly thought so as well. But LGD making sure that he learns to not go over into this position any more times unless he's got more numbers, needs further backup. Just the two of them, that'll be dealt with pretty easily, as we see, by LGD.
I mean, LGD's draft does have a pretty absurd amount of damage at all stages of the game, really. Whenever there's a Muerta, it does feel like you're going to have that extra bit of damage. And with Avenge, I think this hero has kind of been I mean, was super popular, of course, at the start here, but this hero does give your draft always insane amount of damage. Medallion, Wave of Terror, most heroes will just melt early on versus all this minus armor. So Chalice does get punished, a little aggressive, but things still pretty close.
Somnus would love to look for a bit of action. He's close to hitting the level 12, so ideally getting the level 2 on the kisses. And of course has the Arcane Rune in the bottle, so hitting a bit of a sweet spot for Somnus to look for another play.
Definitely understanding why he's got the BKB queued up, though, right? He's versus this Night Stalker, he's versus this Magnus. He needs to have this protection for himself to be able to actually do something in the fights rather than just get full controlled. As LGD still feeling this power during this nighttime. New with his fresh Blink Dagger.
Super strong.
Well,
maybe even with
very
the
careful
he
here.
can get him with the jump, the setup from the silence of the magic missile. They might be able to kill this Weaver. Low. He's going to reveal himself to clean up that last creep of the camp. Is it enough lockdown? The root there as well. It certainly is. A big catch to be found. Low not prepared for that move whatsoever. And now in the mid, nothing to say. He'll drop the RP, get the drag back with the skewer on towards the Bristle. You have New continuing to jump the backline. They didn't this time have enough damage to burst through Chalice. So now AZURE, they're ready to turn. They punish New for the dive here beyond the tier 1. Shiro's opted for the TPR. Anything to stop it, there isn't. He'll make it away. AZURE, they'll get New, and they'll keep Chalice alive. This time round in this position on his own half of the map, Chalice a bit tougher to take down.
He actually has allies with him this time. Last time he was completely isolated, does get that help up, but they do take out the Weaver again. So that's 4 now for Low, and they even had, they really had more than enough to be able to kill him. They still had the refresh from the Dark Ascension if they needed the follow-up silence too. So they are slowing down this Weaver, but Somnus still continuing to get this scaling.
And unlikely to happen again next time. Super close to having his BKB low, just a couple of hundred gold away from the recipe.
So he adapted a little bit here. I mean, it's very needed this game versus all these silences and all these controls we're seeing for him.
AZURE making moves down towards the bottom, the 4 of them. Ready for action. Chalice and FY smoked up right now. Looks like LGD, they're aware that this area of the map is not the spot to be. They back off immediately.
They're waiting for their cooldown, so they used kind of a lot around that mid lane, so they don't want to push the issue here too much. Daytime in about a minute. They'll have Dark Ascension when that comes back up if they look to fight, so probably about 40 seconds downtime for LGD. And AZURE, as you said, Low. BKB is finished, so they're going to have...
Done.
Yeah, it looks like a double BKB timing coming out for them right now.
That makes things a lot tougher for New to sort of get in there and get the guaranteed kill or setup. Chalice starting to push together the defense around the mid lane.
Really wanting to hold on to that tier 1. They even popped the glyph there for it, just trying to ensure it stays alive a little bit longer.
Bit of an awkward skewer, but still makes his way safely up to the high ground. See if he wants to get back down to the... Oh no! Tries to hook away, but he misses his own teammate. He's not able to drag himself out of it. He's caught in the river, but back up arrives. Moving forward, loads in with the BKB. Swamps there from white spot, trying to get used to safety below. He's going to have another Scoochie ready to go. He's chasing down the Night Dog. He brings down New. He'll turn towards Planet. Planet drops the TP out. Scoochie's going to be back up in a second. It isn't enough damage though. Planet's able to TP away. LGD lose 2. Low turning up, and with his BKB timing, it's a strong point for AZURE, a strong point that LGD, they can't kill the Weaver through.
I mean, great from Tianming. It's like a bait play from the level 7 clock where he kind of forces this whole play to happen. And can they finish him?
Oh my goodness, the damage certainly adding up there from the axe from Chalice.
But look where they get, look where they are. Oh, thank you. You brought us actually to your Tormentor. Tormy will be claimed. Chalice can clear this one up easily. They're actually bringing over Planet. Maybe tries to go for a last hit.
He might try for a snipe on this.
Let's see what we get.
It's risky. He's got the ward down. A little early with the Shadow round, they won't be able to get hit with that one. It's already too much damage. As AZURE able to claim LGD's Tormentor and get that shard for Tianming.
Good Lord, it dies so fast to the Bristle when he gets those stacks up. 7k now off of that. They're taking advantage of these cooldowns very nicely. As soon as they identify, mid, LGD used a little bit too much, they strike back quick, take over a pretty big advantage here. 7,000 gold lead now. And a Bloodstone now pretty much finished up for Chalice. Some big timings that they're hitting. And I think they did they not use either? No, they did use the Weaver BKB there, but that's them not really having to use too much to be able to kind of dominate that fight while LGD had those cooldowns not at the ready.
AZURE absolutely turning up in these first 20 minutes.
Looking nice.
7k advantage. This Bristle's certainly going to be a problem, and we're going to see any sort of adaptation from LGD with their builds. Like, who's building to deal with the Bristle?
It's going to have to be the Muerta. Right, the Muerta eventually. But that's going to take a long time for Shiro to have that Silver Edge, because he probably needs like 1 or 2 items in between. It's more than likely just him for quite some time to deal with it. And we see how it all starts. It's on the clockwork, which is
a bit awkward.
He's only level 6 too. It's like it's not even that super valuable kill. He causes this entire situation to happen.
And you know what? He missed that hook shot on purpose. You know, it was just a bait. It's like, oh, look at me. I didn't escape. Oh, woe is me. And then the backup comes in and Low. He's ready with the cleanup. And LGD, they're sent running.
Yeah, and we're honestly seeing a lot of power of maybe why this Snapfire in particular, why it's being picked. Somnus' kisses in general in these fights, they're devastating. They're having to just completely split and run away.
Yeah, he's done a crazy amount of damage for sure here on the mid snap.
It's a treat to see. Cooldowns now, of course, though, on the side of LGD. Everything is coming back up, but now the issue is they're playing into multiple BKBs. Yes, you've got your RP. Yes, you've got this Night Stalker with this Blink. They've got initiation, but will they be able to endure those BKBs that are already out? And also another Tormentor, of course, that's about to be brought down from Chalice. So, you know, these shards are going to be kicking out for the supports.
And RP pretty much is the only
thing to
kind
control.
of easy instant stun, or as instant, as close to instant as you can get, that can catch these heroes before they get the chance to press BKB. Anyone else starts leading in from LGD, AZURE, their heroes are going to get the BKBs off every single time.
Every single time, yeah. They need it feels like for LGD in these next few moments, they need an explosive jump to just try to take these fights, but looking hard. And also for AZURE now at this point, Roche is on the menu, and they will kill it extremely fast with this draft. With the Weaver, the Snapfire, the Bristle, it's going to die in seconds, so. For LGD, they have to be on their toes to be able to try to prepare themselves for that potential Roche that's going to be coming probably in the next 4 minutes. It's on the Radiant side right now, so yeah. See what they look to make with these next few moves.
I mean, for sure, but it's going to be so hard trying to approach the
even
Roshan.
contesting.
You know that Somnus is going to be set up in the trees around somewhere, getting ready to lay down the ult if LGD jump into the pit and try and fight the rest of AZURE.
Yep. Shiro actually, you were mentioning who's going to be the answer for the Bristle. Shiro's changing his build up completely. He had the BKB Mjolnir queued up. He's prioritizing that Silver Edge. They're starting to feel that pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. I mean, in terms of sort of damage through the BKB, they've got a lot of it right in AZURE.
Sure.
BKB is going to help you a lot against the kisses coming in, one of the biggest problems when you're trying to stand your ground, piercing the veil as a Muerta. But yeah, the fact that this Bristle is going to run completely rampant through the fights, it's definitely the bigger problem that Shiro needs to address.
And look at this. The scan comes out, but it's actually, I think, right before they actually walk into the pit there.
That's quick.
They're probably aware this is happening, but it's going to die in seconds anyway, so no way for them to react. And AZURE, this is definitely potential for them to start knocking on tier 2s, but maybe even more than that with this Aegis now finished up on Chalice. Scary moments perhaps for LGD in these next 5 to 8 minutes.
Yeah, if LGD find themselves in a bad fight during this Aegis in the hands of Chalice, LGD's easily going to lose a couple of their tier 2s, maybe even more.
Look, they're already setting up on top. They have this aggressive ward that was placed out from earlier. They actually see Shiro with it. Of course, pushing into high ground has been a difficult task for many teams this tournament, and playing into Avenge and a Magnus, of course, is going to have its own problems coming into it all too, but definitely some good moments here that AZURE can take advantage of the map. Yeah, low, even the Deso's pretty much done too, so. See if they look to set up for those tier 2s at the least. And Somnus, he's just continuing to go for scaling, by the way. So the BKB was done with that defusal. He's going straight for that pike, so just continuing to get that big scaling. And that's going to help a lot too, also for distancing, right? He's always just wants to avoid getting jumped on, heroes getting in his face. He'll have that pike to be able to push the Magnus, push the NS away as well. Spline it. See ya. My God.
Ooh, that quill spray damage. They're not TPing away from that one.
And they're just sweeping across now, looking for more.
Oh, and that's a sweet hook shot there for Tiamin. Gets in with a perfect angle over towards Why You Smile. They're going to be able to get both of them here. Double kill for Chalice. The gold for this Bristleback just continues to roll in.
Tier 2 on the menu.
The top lane. Also got Low teasing around with New. He's going to try for the TP out. It was quite the long one, but they didn't have any way to cancel it in time. Still, though, there's going to be some pressure onto the tower.
Both towers. 2
heroes down on LGD. Pretty much guaranteed that they're not going to be able to do much about at least one of these tier 2s going. I'll see how heavy AZURE want to keep the push on. His bottom lane creeps have been pushed all the way back out from LGD right up to AZURE's tier 2. Not able to put on the pressure there. We'll see AZURE focus around the mid, but nothing to say.
Can't find the angle. Wants to go for a jump, but yeah, he's got more than enough behind himself on Chalice here.
Yeah, they're playing it carefully, AZURE, respecting the fact that the respawn's coming in from LGD, and that LGD may just actually still be in a shape to try and go for a fight around the tier 2s.
Do they have the damage now? It's
so
always
hard.
been the question for LGD. Outside of the base. Inside the base, they probably will with this Muerta, but outside, starting to feel a little complicated for them versus the BKBs that are out with Shiro being slightly underfarmed here.
They just let the top one go. Tier 2's gone. AZURE continuing to take over the map at 24 minutes in.
And they're playing it careful. They're sweeping together. Low playing on his own a little bit here, but difficult to get caught. Chalice always having backup of his allies. Interesting to point out too, if I was looking at Somnus' build, I saw only 2 points in Cookie. Yeah, he's going stats. You know, the universal, why not? He's going to be going for that big scaling himself too. On top of it, just his items that he's been going for.
will be ready to TP over and join that fight in the mid if it kicks off. We're going to see them try and start things. They get the drag back on a challenge with the skewer. Good damage here as they're able to cleanly take him out the first time round.
Pretty isolated.
See if they can go for round 2. RP straight away from nothing to say. Another skewer getting him right up into the base, up towards the tier 3. The fear's there as well. They'll be able to take him down. Tianming tries to hook shot forward to help him out, but Chalice has fallen. Kiss is coming in. Why you smile?
They'll get another one
to the
too.
Side, still goes down.
They got Tianming as well. Great catch there. Nothing to say, just seizing the opportunity. One quick slip up. Maybe gonna find more.
Get him with a harpoon, drag back with the skewer, they'll catch FY.
Oh, wow. I mean, those are massive catches. This is a gem as well, too, picked up? I think it is.
Big defense here from LGD. As AZURE, I mean, they had the Bristle, you know, an incredibly farm Bristle. With an Aegis, it didn't matter. LGD very easily dealing with that, surprisingly so.
Without even the Silver Edge, right? They just actually had more than enough damage. I guess looking at it, he doesn't have any armor items, so the Venge throws the Wave of Terror, throws the Solar Crest, and he's actually like taking pretty much maximum damage there from the physical. Wow. He slowed down AZURE completely there. And that was right after the talent, I think, also got picked up from Nothing to Say. I think he just hit 15 not too long before that, so the double skewers are able to bring that Bristle back closer and closer.
That's definitely going to be quite the shake-up for AZURE.
Definitely.
If you've just gone for that sort of play, you know, with the Aegis on the Bristle and it's ended up like that, like, what are you doing different next time round? How are you making sure you don't walk into this again?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Big damage coming out for low. Scatter Blast from Somnus takes Planet out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be the question always versus the Venge versus this Magnus.
Shiro.
Repositioning. Shiro.
Trying to see if he can maybe set something up here with the Silver Edge now complete. So as you say, we saw them take down Chalice pretty easily there. Now they've got the break. It's going to be even easier.
Very true. I really thought that they would struggle a little bit more before to bring him out, but yeah, just overwhelming damage.
AZURE, what's the next move? They couldn't do it with the Aegis.
Looking at the items queuing up, I was waiting to see if FY did queue this up. He probably does want this Blink Dagger on the Shadow Demon eventually to be able to get potential saves onto the heroes that get swapped or skewered and whatnot into the fountain. They're trying to find the opportunities.
Now, for sure, they need some way to sort of break Chalice out of the combo that he keeps getting caught in.
Yeah, because overall, I mean, their initiation for the side of AZURE, it's definitely a little difficult for them to start a fight and just kill a hero before they're able to get a spell off and reset into that base, if it's near the base, right? So, even though they have that 8k lead, maybe it does feel a bit deceptive with how much LGD is able to make these initiations freely with Nothing to Say on this Magnus.
Yeah, I mean, LGD are making that 8k lead look like nothing.
It really is.
With the way that they pulled together those last few defenses, and now they're ready to get offensive themselves.
Especially because they got the gem out that last fight, too. You actually get so much control with it, playing versus a Weaver in particular, but also just being able to get the D-wards around.
See TP backs here, looking to try and punish Tianming for taking that Wisdom Rune. He's out with the
He's gliding.
TP, they won't find him.
Oh, that was gorgeous. I love it. The jetpack high five. Nobody high fived him back, but it's okay.
Now BKB.
There we go, the tower.
Now for New, I mean, he's going to have a much better chance just kind of getting in, getting on top of them, and sort of being in range with that silence, whilst the BKB durations for AZURE start to fall shorter and shorter.
It feels like they got through one of the harder points, playing versus that Aegis, taking it out on the side of LGD. Starting to get this big scale. I mean, Shiro's starting to get pretty scary. Getting closer and closer to them. I mean, he's now tied with the Bristleback, getting ahead of everybody else. Just Somnus ahead of him now at this point.
And once this hero Muerta starts to get the items online, well, we've seen what this hero can achieve.
Heroes evaporate. Especially when you have the backup of something like an Amplifier. You have Avenge and you have the Empower too. These little things do add up.
Extra bit of damage.
Chalice showing himself bottom. He's got backup coming in, but LGD, they've got the numbers down here.
Shiro will show himself on the wave, but complete backup ready behind him. AZURE, they've got to be careful what they walk into here.
Quick grab.
On the side. Try and get the setup onto Tianming. He's able to get over the jetpack. Magic Missile catches him, they bring him down. They even get the aggressive swap on towards the
RP.
into the RP. They'll take Chalice down low. They'll bring him out of the game. Chalice
oh my
for 4.
goodness, the damage.
See Somnus look to turn. You know, but it was New, but the BKB's out and New's up in the trees. AZURE, they don't get anything in return. LGD just getting in, getting the kills, and getting out.
These heroes disintegrate. Even Chalice, again, he just dies in a matter of seconds. And Shiro doing, what, 4,600 damage there.
And just getting away with these aggressive plays. You know, why you smile able to set up with this aggressive swap just to open up onto the Bristleback. I mean, at this point for AZURE, Chalice, it feels like he can't frontline.
He cannot.
He gets caught at the start of the fight, they will kill him, and seemingly there's nothing that the rest of AZURE's lineup can do to save him.
No, and they don't have a way to start fights themselves on the side of AZURE. You can see on the side of PSG, or on the side of LGD, they have multiple forms with that swap, like you said, but immediately when they get vision, they can just go for this jump. So AZURE have to be careful.
Just straight up outplay from LGD in these last few fights.
Ever since the Roche, right? Like we said, it seems like they got through the hardest point, and right now they're getting catch after catch after catch. I mean, AZURE, they have to set up for this Roche. They cannot give up a Roche to LGD at this point, so looks like they should be able to get this one for free.
And of course, if in these fights Low can find his position, he can deal an incredible amount of damage. That's in on the Daedalus. You see, this time round, they will give Low the Aegis on this one.
I like that. And Chalice just has to be a little bit more careful and somehow be near FY to get some type of saves, but even then it's very difficult because of how fast he dies. At the least now he has this cheese, so it does perhaps have that secondary life to survive, but...
I just feel super relaxed playstyle from LGD. They
does.
didn't care last time that the Aegis was going into the hands of AZURE, and this time round, once again, showing no intention of heading down there. I mean, very much feeling like that they can happily take a fight against the Aegis. We'll see how much of a difference it makes with the Aegis being on the Weaver this time rather than on Chalice.
But the question's still just going to be, is like, how much and what do you actually get out of this Aegis and cheese now, it feels like, on the side of AZURE? Because the problem is really just getting these objectives, pushing out, and making LGD feel weaker. It just, how much can they get? It happens.
It's a hard spell to hit.
They'll get it anyway.
We've all been there. I've been there every single time I play it. But Chalice, it doesn't matter. The job still gets done.
He didn't kill a teammate, right? At the least. So.
Lincoln's done now as well. Yeah, for nothing to say, so even easier for him to find these entrances into the fight.
Absolute freedom.
And make sure that he's able to get that pullback with the skewer without being interrupted.
They're going to be able to get their own Tormentor now. A nice shard, of course.
I think a lot of it's going to fall down to FY, as it does seem to, and a lot of the times when he turns up at TI, he's got his Blink Dagger done. We need to see some big saves from this man. He's ready with those disruptions, make sure that Chalice Low doesn't get caught in the full combo that LGD have been able to lay down upon them in the last few fights.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're going to do. Is it just going to be this kind of farm Aegis where they feel comfortable to fight outside? Because it does feel like every time they went to go for that aggressive move, it got punished. So LGD, they're going to look for a jump themselves.
Yeah, they feel strong.
I mean, they should. After we saw those last few fights, they just kill anybody, and the repositioning is massive.
I mean, whoever gets jumps is going to die.
Chalice.
Unless FY is able to get him with a save, and he's
far forward.
They're holding back. Now they reveal themselves. They'll get the skewer back. There's not a chance. There's not a hope here for this Bristle as Chalice is evaporating. Looking for the jump over towards Somnus. Somnus able to push him back, gets himself slid back under the tier 2. He'll live for now. Nothing to say. Just continue to try and chase on you. He's even considering diving the base. FY holds him back with the disruption. LGD, they won't be able to dive quite yet, but just full aggression from LGD as AZURE, despite the lead on the numbers in terms of the gold, we're not feeling it.
Nope, not at all.
LGD just seem to be in full control of this game right now.
They're playing beautiful with the way the vision is coming, the vision control. Ever since they got the gem, ever since they killed that Aegis in particular around the mid, they're getting these jumps, and it's pretty much free jumps, it looks like, for nothing to say. He's not even using the RP. It's literally just him. They get the break hit, he gets the shockwave, the harpoon, the skewer, and then they have overwhelming damage.
Yeah, he's really done a lot this game. 4-0-6, they've not been able to touch this man.
Yeah, Somnus is trying to actually do a little bit of similar, at least for scouting now. He has his Silver Edge. He's trying to give information for his team to at least see these jumps coming. Now that it is daytime for about a minute, looking to try to get some type of advantage with this Aegis.
LGD just not getting caught out there.
Backing away every single time.
AZURE, it's been a while since they've been able to get away with an initiation and an aggressive maneuver themselves. They'll get to tier 2 in the mid lane, and towers have certainly been falling, but when it comes to killing the heroes, LGD, they've just not been slipping up. AZURE struggling to find any sort of catch.
They haven't actually killed the core in quite a long time. They killed Planet, and they killed Y, and then they killed Planet and Y, and that's it in the last 15 minutes. They have not killed the core in 15 minutes. So the cores on the side of LGD have kind of been playing the map perfectly, you could say, if that's the case. And how do they kill those, right? And what's their catch to be able to bring down one of these cores at this point?
Only just over a minute left on the Aegis here for Low.
Okay, BKB of course now on Chalice. He's got the cheese.
I mean, LGD, they just look terrifying. You know, knowing how the last few fights have gone, stepping into this part of the map, trying to push forward as AZURE, it can't feel easy.
No, and I'm just so scared. Every time I see Chalice kind of like run up for a second, I'm terrified for him. Just how fast he has been brought down over and over again. Does have to find Shell BKB cheese, so quite a bit tankier
We're seeing a bit of a wraparound as well here from LGD, trying to maybe get towards the back lines.
I mean, LGD, it's nighttime. It's hit. They've got the vision advantage. They're
going to go straight in onto him. RP, the brakes there, the bristleback line immediately. They'll also be able to take down Tianming. AZURE, they just cannot take a fight right now. Somnus has the BKB TP out. He'll make it out of there. But once again, a move that's made with AZURE having the Aegis upon them. They just can't get anything done. LGD taking every single fight that's handed to them.
He died in, I mean, that was 5,000 damage in what? 1.5 seconds or something like that? He died so fast. I mean, there's no reaction. Like, how does FY? It's like he has to somehow get in there to save him, but the speed that he dies is absurd. And this is with Defiant Shell. This, of course, with Cheese. He can't get anything off. The damage just from Shiro is way too high after he's broken.
Yeah, straight down the lanes they go now, LGD. They're ready to push themselves, try and take some of the tier 2s.
I mean, Nothing to Say has just done absolutely everything, it feels like, for the team. I mean, you, of course, have to give merit to them getting the vision, of course, with the Night Stalker and stuff like that, but he's been getting catch after catch after catch for, 15 minutes or so now.
And that one thing that they had, AZURE going for them, that little bit of a gold lead, it's slipping away.
I mean, that gold lead, it was what? It was approaching 10,000 plus or something like that.
It got up to quite a decent amount early on.
It's never felt like it actually mattered. And now a full AC on top 2 for New. I mean, even more damage, more minus armor. AZURE, what do they do?
I mean, we'll see if anything kind of gets better for AZURE when it comes to maybe being forced to take fights on their side of the map. And when it comes to high ground defense, maybe they'll have something a bit better going for them if Somnus is able to set up on the back lines, get in a good position to lay down the damage with the kisses, and having that range and that high ground advantage. But even then, the problem is LGD's heroes, they've got a lot of heroes that do not mind diving the high ground, right?
No. I mean, maybe this is going to start getting to some points where it's, all right, maybe we just have to wait until the 25s come out for the side of AZURE, right? The Weaver 25 and Somnus 25, and see if that's going to be able to somehow win them some of these fights, because it just feels like they don't have a Bristleback in a lot of them, because he's just deleted. So the heavy lifting is going to have to somehow come from the Snap and Weaver. But it really does feel like LGD, they have all the answers. Yeah, these last 15 to 17 minutes just feels like perfect. And it's not even like it doesn't look like they feel that pressured either, right?
I don't think so at all.
It's been pretty calm plays, these calm skewer backs, and just great identification of when to take these fights.
Yeah, they're happy to take it easy. I mean, Muerta this game should be able to outscale anyone else in the match, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Shiro in a fantastic spot. And has got still a lot of progress that he can continue to make with his item build.
And even him going for something like a Hex is actually just good if he wants to actually go down that route. He's playing versus a Weaver, right? So it's never bad to have that little bit more of disable as well. It does give you damage, of course, too. As he doesn't even really need the damage anymore, so I don't blame him if he does go for something down like a Hex.
I mean, is there anything item-wise that AZURE can look towards themselves? I mean, we see Low queuing up the Satanic, trying to beef himself up a bit, have an extra bit more survivability. Chalice is queuing up the Shiva's Guard. Maybe that'll help him out a little bit, but highly likely that he's still just going to die straight away as the fight begins, with how well LGD are just focusing down the Bristle and catching him in spots where AZURE, they cannot save him as a team.
It feels like for them they have to have some way to be able to start the fights themselves, but their heroes just don't really do that in comparison. They don't have this Magnus or one of these big initiating heroes. They have the Bristleback, who he's a body rather than an actual initiator for the team. And so far that body has not been working out so well in these last 15 or so minutes. Yeah, even the Shivas, right? Like, yeah, he got the Defiant Shell and stuff like that, which is 7 armor. He died in a fraction of a second before.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the break comes in and the Pierce the Veil damage comes out from Shiro, it's game over for the Bristle.
On top of the Empower and the Vengeance Aura and the Wave of Terror, it's just, so much amplification as we're seeing. And now I'm like trying to think, right? For Low, it's like you see the Satanic, but see if you're gonna get the Satanic off in a lot of situations. Could just get evaporated. LGD just playing on these timings perfectly.
And if you're AZURE in this sort of position, I mean, as a team, what's sort of the call that you think is being made right now? The fact that you've got the last 2 Aegises, you've tried to go for these pushes, you've taken a tier 2 here and there, but just nothing else has been going your way. As a team, what sort of point do you look towards next to make that next move?
It's a good question. I mean, maybe it is just these 25s on the Weaver and the Snap, or maybe it is just the Hex on Somnus, because right now they have no way to start a quick, easy fight or get a quick, easy pick-off with their heroes. They just don't have it. Like, yeah, Clockwork can hook shot and perhaps bonk one hero away, but they have the save with the Venge, so it's just always complicated for AZURE to start a fight. And downtime now for LGD. Everything's back up. Dark Ascension's at the ready. RP, they want to hit again.
Oh, they certainly do. Nothing to say, leading the way.
Anyone who shows is just going to get disintegrated in seconds.
They could jump low even if they catch him here. They will. Straight in with the RP. They'll get the drag back. FI tries to help out, but New's
already there.
On top of it with the crippling fear. Not a chance for any sort of disruption play to come out as LGD. They're just too quick with the moves.
Just no hesitation from Nothing to Say, it seems like, for most of this game. And New there that time, the perfect coverage. FY can't even get the save off. Another skewer attempt, a BKB forced.
They won't get him this time round. Chalice able to stay safe. For the push, likely to still come in. The creep wave, stepping forward here for LGD. The backdoor protection taken out.
That's the glyph.
Low does have a buyback, but even if that comes in, are they really going to be able to push them back? Nothing to say. He'll get the catch once again.
Deleted.
As Tianming tries to hook shot in. New, he jumped the backlines. He's in on the Somnus. Somnus tries to down, but the Blade Bear's out for New. Somnus has got to be careful. He'll have to force himself back to the safety of the fountain. LGD easily able to deal with Tianming outside of the base. They'll take the barracks. There is nothing that AZURE can do.
Nope, and they're just going to keep going. New's just waiting for a creep to spawn so he can heal up back a decent chunk off of it. There we go. And the 2 sets down. AZURE maybe just talking about what to do for this following, even though there's lanes up top. I mean, look
He's
at
ready to go for more and Nothing to Say. Tries to get the catch onto Somnus. This time Somnus able to break away from the combo. New, he's in on top of FY. Then McCabe and a cookie to the side. They're trying to get FY back to safety, but the detection's there. FY to fall.
They're just hitting tier 4.
They're ready to end it. Straight down the mid, onto the tier 4s.
Clips, okay. Backdoor's back up, they'll back away. But damage truly done. And AZURE doesn't even touch a single hero, really. Yeah, they get them down to somewhat like half HP, but don't really hurt much of anything there. Again and again. Nothing to say. Flawless performance from this Magnus.
I mean, yeah, just from LGD as a whole, this sort of mid-game onwards, they couldn't have played it any better. They just completely broken what AZURE tried to do with the pretty significant lead that AZURE did build up during the laning stage. It just didn't matter whatsoever against the plays that LGD is pulling off.
No, even though there's an Aegis and whatnot, it just didn't seem like they weren't able to capitalize it whatsoever. It actually was LGD who capitalized off of the enemy Aegis, it felt like.
And Chalice, he's having to go for an Eon Disc, drastic measures here, just anything that could give him a chance of just not getting blown up in that initial jump from LGD in every single fight.
All right, let's see if they can try to catch them, perhaps at least like off guard or something, because so far it's just LGD. They're all set up though, so it's not easy at all. There's also a full refresher on Nothing to Say for this next fight as well.
If this goes wrong, it may just be all over here. As AZURE, they're going to step forward already. Nothing to say with a 2-man LP.
They're gone.
Immediately take a low. Tianming, FI's out of the game. As Low and FI, they do not have buyback. Somnus also put to a stop there. Attempted TP out.
Challenge.
They just can't do anything. AZURE. Okay. Shiro's gone. All right, Chalice.
2,100 gold.
He's got something to say. He's taken down one of them. He's probably not going to get anything more. All right, Chalice, not bad. Not bad at all considering how the last 20 minutes have gone. Chalice is able to kill off the Karen.
Chalice does 9,500 damage in about a second there.
That's amazing.
That's quite a bit. The cheese. Full splatter. And what, how much gold? 2,100.
Okay.
Chalice.
All right, Chalice, he's grown up. He's ready to turn things around. He's had enough of being bullied, being killed off, and killing out the carry, and now in a position where they should be able to get this Roche. The third Roshan as well, so it'll be a free Ags here for the squad.
Who wants it though?
Let's have a look. I mean,
you give it to maybe? Do you give it to the Shadow Demon maybe?
Do you give it to Low? Maybe to try and have an extra save against. I know it's not great. It's pretty bad nowadays, but anything to save this Bristle.
I wonder who they're going to give it to. Let's see.
See who passes off to Chalice.
Do you just give it to one of the cores, or does FY want it? Let's see. I feel like it's nice on FY, but...
FY or Somnus, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it could be Somnus. Maybe that's the initiating tool that they were lacking this whole time.
Yeah, just throw
Chalice in and hope for the best or something. I guess we'll see.
Okay. Well, the game goes on. Despite the fact that FY overall, they lost pretty much, 4 heroes?
They gave it FY.
Chalice keeps his going. Okay.
Okay. I thought they would, but I thought perhaps because he was holding it for a second, maybe they were contemplating for Somnus. But nope, it'll go to FY.
Let's see if they can do a little bit more of that. Chalice, 5k gold in the bank.
See if the heart's going to make the difference.
Indeed, that Eon Disc, it's out of there now. He's like, you know what? We don't need to go there. We can continue to play as we'd hoped for as the Bristle.
That was very unexpected.
Yeah.
LGD. Back to grouping up. Shiro, still level 25, of course, as a refresher coming out very, very soon. Cooldowns coming back up in a second. So LGD gathering up, probably looking to still go for that hit. Even if they're playing into that Aegis, as we've seen so far this game, they don't care.
Shiro. refresher of just about 1,000 or so away.
Yep, very, very close.
AZURE, they might look to make a play themselves.
Do they have anything new? The Ags, of course, those finished up on the clock, and that heart, of course, there for Chalice. And let's see, is this enough? He's gained quite a bit of HP in these last few moments. Still doesn't feel like it's going to be enough for him to survive, but maybe FY with this new Aghanims can make the difference also.
Somnus just about to hit the 25 and having enough gold to get his next item done.
Okay. And he is still queuing up this Hex, so he is still feeling like the route of having at least an extra form of disable is very important.
Piecing things back together here. After what's been a very difficult 20 minutes, but just that one kill, that fact that they were able to bring Shiro down.
That was massive.
It's given him just that extra kind of a new wind, a new lease of life here for Chalice.
And yeah, the Hex, I mean, they're spending out their gold. I feel like they kind of know that they have to in these next few moments as well, too. Refresher is back up. RP is ready. LGD. Everyone clustered. Shiro does spend out as well, too, so if they can catch this Muerta, that's another option here for AZURE.
I mean, that would be crazy.
That would be.
Because the game is in a point where obviously the tier 2s are taken. It's up to the tier 3s on LGD's side of the map, so indeed if that Muerta's out of the game without buyback, a lot of damage could get done by AZURE.
How close to Weaver? Low. They're trying to give him his 25, I'd imagine, trying to get this Geminate. The Clash. Smokes out. The Rockets to scout. It saw the Magnus for a second there.
Darkness out here from Noob. Nothing to say. Trying to get the catch.
Oh, low.
Oh, he's out again with the Shikuchi.
Tense moments.
Not able to get that catch, and the rocket flare spam with this Aghanims coming in from Tianming.
Free smoke.
It's hard for them to enter into the fight.
Hook shot.
Oh, he was teasing with the idea of going back in himself. Won't get the catch. Maybe for the better there. That would have been quite the deep play.
Trying to take advantage of their ages, perhaps, when he's looking for that. Low. And he gets
Still
scouting
hopping
it.
around.
Oh.
Nothing to say, may still be willing to jump. They know AZURE is likely to get the wall control around here, so LGD, now back off.
Playing it patient. How long? 1 minute, 20 seconds. Swapping sides. They know they have momentum coming in that bottom and mid wave.
See if they can force something down him. And of course, tier 2 is still up on that top lane, so LGD can't get anything more out of this push unless they want to try going straight head on for the tier 4s.
Which they could do.
They certainly push fast. AZURE trying to see if they can come in from behind them, but the scan's been a hit. LGD know that AZURE is trying to approach them from this angle.
LGD's got the high ground.
The rocket flare spam continuing to come out though from Tianming, making it difficult for LGD to catch AZURE by surprise.
30 seconds on Aegis. LGD looking for a catch.
Nothing to say, as we've been seeing. More than happy to go for these solo RPs if it means a catch onto someone like Low.
So he's got the secondary one at the ready too, so. AZURE forced back into their base. Double catapults coming in.
Trying to deal with the sort of situation of the waves in all the lanes, but this rocket flare spam from Tianming helps to keep the waves held back.
I mean, the Willow, planet.
Even the Hex on towards Chalice. Chalice continue to try and move over the Axe, not quite in range of planet.
Whoopsie. The bristle back used, nothing to say, looking for an angle. Finds two.
He's in. He's caught the two of them. He's able to drag them back straight into the core, but the damage coming out for Shiro. The Pierce the Bell and take out Shiro. They take out Somnus. Once again, nothing to say, coming in with the RPs that count here. And he's maybe even ready to go for more. Pulse the refresher.
He wants a big one.
They get the swap back. He'll also get the grab onto Tianming. They're able to take down what will be a fourth hero here. There's nothing to say. These RPs, they've not been the 5-mans, but they haven't needed to be. The 1-mans, the 2-mans, every single time catching the cores that count.
I mean, flawless execution really by him, and flawless by Shiro as 2 shots the snap fire.
And Somnus, he's not got the buyback. He's out for 70 seconds. Did not have for the money.
He bought out the small crib.
He did. On top of the Silver Edge as well. He spent up. See Chalice trying to hold. Coming out with the quill spray damage is enough to bring down Planet.
But he's alone.
He's back on a full HP, but he's quite quickly getting brought down a second time. Hojo for Tianming, trying to hold Shiro back away from Chalice, but Shiro, Hurricane punch forward, tries to finish on Chalice. The crits are there. They're taking them all down. No buybacks left on AZURE. The tier 4's fall. The game is over. GG is called. LGD